Hi, thanks for joining. I'm Erica, and this is Deep Release Your Week. This is part of my 6-week 2020 Deep Release program, and every Friday from 4:30 to about 4:50, we'll be going through about just a 20-minute release. We'll be doing some self-myofascial release work, some yin yoga postures, and then just ending with a guided relaxation. So for today's practice, we're just going to use one set of standard therapy balls. I'm going to use the plus size therapy ball because it allows me to cover a little bit more territory. So grab your therapy balls and also have a block or a blanket nearby for the end. So without further ado, take one of the balls out of the tote and come to stand. We're going to start by standing, just awakening the feet. I want to come right to the beginning of the whole back line. And the very first place for that is at the base of the big toe. So take your big toe up on your therapy ball and then start to step forward, just getting a bit of extension in the great toe. This is the first hinging and the first movement that's going to happen along that back line of the body. And then start to sweep that ball along the bottom of your foot, pressing down as you roll like you're kneading bread. Working from the inside of the foot to the outside of the foot. Since this is a short practice and it's still earlier in the day, the rolling part will be a little bit more active. So get some nice momentum there, pushing down as you need, and then pause with that ball right on the base of the heel. Feel the front edge of the heel and start to twist like you're grinding that ball into the floor. And then step off and let's come right to the other side. Right big toe on the ball, step the left foot forward like you're walking. Get a push off of the big toe on the right. Maybe hold that stretch for a few breaths, really feeling that extension in the big toe, pushing off. And then stepping back, sweep along the bottom of your foot. Knead, so dig down into it as you roll, rolling from the inside to the outside of the foot. And then placing the ball right at the front edge of the heel. Almost press the foot forward so that you can feel that front edge, and then start to push down. Grind the heel in towards the floor, getting the front border of the heel right where the plantar fascia attaches. And then step off. Let your feet just come to the floor for a moment and just give a little shift and really feel the feet on the earth. Shift side to side, shift forward and back. Feel all the toes and all the edges of the foot grounded and ready to come down towards the floor. Take both of your therapy balls now. Like I said, I'm using the plus size ones. today, right behind the knees. We're gonna get a little twofer here. So instead of coming down to child's pose as I would in a more restorative type class, like I said, today is still a little earlier. So and it's a little quicker moving class. So we're gonna curl all the toes under, and then now we're gonna push our hips back towards our heels. So we're gonna and then maybe shift the hip side to side a little bit. You're gonna get right into that place where the hamstrings and the gastroc cross. And you're also gonna get some reinforcement of that rolling we just did before, the great toe. And maybe keep your hands down. Maybe do a little forward and backward shift, like you're dipping your toes into the water. Just come into the resistance and then back off. Or if you're ready for a little bit more, maybe sit the hips back and start the walk of the hands up the thighs. If this is new to you, this might be a lot of tension. So if you find yourself gripping or guarding, back off, bring the hands back to the floor, decrease the amount of weight and the amount of pressure into where the ball and body meet. And notice if you can find a moment of stillness wherever you are. Find a place that's sustainable yet sensational. Pause and take maybe 5 to 7 letting go breaths. Maybe sighing it out. See if you can let gravity and time sink you a little bit deeper into those legs. Noticing your patterns. Noticing if anything tenses, the shoulders, the eyes. If you're feeling stuck, really feel the movement of your breath. If you're feeling a little bit irritable, feel into the floor for support. Let your body be heavy. Take 3 more breaths here. And then release the balls from behind the knees. Take them a bit higher. I'm gonna take them more towards the mid-Achilles, I would say, just below the musculotendinous junction when that Achilles tendon starts to narrow. And now I'm gonna do just a little pelvic tilting over here. Try to get a little lengthening in that. A little stripping of my Achilles, as well as try to get into the proximal hamstrings. That's why I'm choosing the plus size right now. If I had my standard size, they'd feel just a little bit too small. And I want to get at the hamstrings just a little bit, as well as the calves as we transition into our next posture. And then just pause in stillness again. Let your hands rest in the lap or on the thighs. Come back to our intention that we set for this week, that we've been using. May I let go of what's behind me and awaken to what's inside of me. Take a moment to pause and shift your awareness inward towards the sensations of the body. Take in whatever you need and then let go with the rest, with a big sigh. Removing your therapy balls. Curl the toes under. Let your hands stay on the floor, or maybe you bring them to a block. And we're gonna start to come towards a forward fold or Uttanasana. Here, keep the knees bent. Let the head come forward, almost like a cat and cow. And then exhale, shoot your sit bones up towards the sky as the crown of the head comes forward. Let's do just a little bit more of that, a little flossing here. Inhale, shoulders draw back, chest draws forward. Come from that active place we just were, moving ahead into looking in. Gaze comes towards the navel, crown of the head towards the floor, hips go up. 2 more times just like this. Flatten and then last time. And then let your hands interlace behind the head here. Grip the forearms just underneath the cheekbones. Let the hands and the forearms give a little distraction to the head, so to the cranium, off of the cervical spine. We'll get into this place in just a couple minutes. Maybe do a little nod of your chin, opening that space, feeling the pinky fingers right along the occipital base. Notice if there's anything you're still holding on to. Is there any tension, any guarding? Can you let gravity assist you in this posture, pulling you towards the floor? With each exhale, bring the gaze more towards the navel, creating that internal gaze. And then let the hands come down. Shake the head no. Nod the head yes. Feel the breath traverse along the entire spine. One more last big exhale, sighing out, making whatever noise you need to let go of your day, let go of your week, even let go of your year. Let go anything that's behind. And then hands come back towards the floor, coming down towards the ground. Shift onto your back, take your therapy balls into the tote. And again, I'm using the plus size today so I can cover just a little bit more territory, a little bit quicker. The standard size tend to be a little more specific, and this lets me be a little more general. So come onto your back, take your therapy balls right under the sacral base, so the triangular bone that makes up the back of your pelvis. If you make a triangle on the front of your pelvis with your middle fingers and thumbs, you'll also feel that triangle. So right where those thumbs connect is where you want your therapy balls. And then give me a little forward and back action. So our practices this week are focused in that flexion plane. So focus on the flexion of the scooping of the tailbone towards the knees. And then come off of the sacrum, coming to that L5 or last lumbar vertebrae, and create a little space by scooping the tail. And then feet can walk down, or you can bump the ball up, continuing with this mobility as you make your way up the spine. You might even give a little gentle chug towards the heels, just to go over 1, max 2 segments at a time. And then continue traversing your way up. at your own pace, exploring the flexion and extension motion in each spinal segment, maybe loosening it up with a little chug. Finding your way now towards the thoracolumbar junction where the rib cage meets the low back. These transition points can be a place where we get stuck in dysfunction or stuck in a pattern. So notice if there's any additional tenderness there. And then come up towards the rib cage. Now, as we come into the rib cage, let's change the driver of the motion. I, again, want to focus on that flexion plane. So we're getting flexed from the head and roll over the balls. Use the arms again, just like you did in that forward fold. That was a precursor to this, where the elbows come by the cheekbones and it supports the head. So inhale, arch back, stick your behind out, and then exhale, tuck the tailbone, gaze towards your belly, just as we did in the forward folds. Working your way up the spine, arch, and then round. Feel how as you round, you get some nice movement of the balls along the back. We're getting a little bit of core integration here too. As we lengthen one side, we strengthen the other. They're opposites on the spectrum, mobility and stability. So as we lengthen out the back, we're engaging the core, but focusing in on it as more of a round and an arch than a crunch itself. Letting the balls make their way up to between the shoulder blades now. Maybe even getting a little chug here, lifting the butt. As you hug your elbows, you'll create more space right between the shoulder blades. And then I like here to actually keep my elbows hugged around my cheekbones so I get that lift from the elbows as I look up and then as I look down. Use the eyes to drive your motion here. Inhale as you look up. Exhale as you look down. Keep working your way up that space between the shoulder blades. Inhale up. Exhale round. Gaze comes down. Expansion and contraction. Exhaling and letting go. And then letting the balls come right to the bottom of the neck, that space right where the neck and the rib cage meet. And just doing a few shoulder blade shrugs here. And then, like I said, these transitional junction spots, these transitional areas, we tend to get stuck in patterns. So maybe hug the elbows and do a little rocking side to side. Using the sensations of the body as feedback for that just right spot. And then now even coming into the neck, we'll start to use the head as the driver, so come off the tops of the shoulders, and now your chin will drive the motion. Tuck the chin towards the throat. Feel that pull along the back of the neck. Just like the chugging or the pelvic tilt from below, we now can drive with the chin. Making your way up gently along the back of the neck. This is another reason I chose the plus size ball. If I use the standard size, I find they don't quite fill that arch in the neck.
If you have the standard size and it's not quite filling that space, or if your balls feel a little small, you can just place a little towel under the balls and then come right up to the base of the head. Traction the balls up the back of the neck, landing right where the head sits on the spine. A few more nods, tractioning the base of the head away from the neck. And then pausing here in stillness just for a few breaths. We'll come back to this in just a minute. Maybe the legs straighten out in front of you. Feel the shoulders drop back. Spine is really heavy. Feel all of the points where the spine meet the floor now. Feeling more proprioception, more awareness, more sense of that place of contact right where the body meets the floor. And then we'll remove the balls for this next posture. We'll do one yin posture here. This is a little bit more of an active posture, so I'll go through in stages. I'll give you options. So first option is you could just come into a gentle inversion by taking your block or foam roller and placing it behind your sacrum. Stage one. Please feel free to stay here. This is a beautiful place to be. Gravity is working to drain everything out of the body, improving blood flow, circulation to the brain. It's calming and restorative for the nervous system. So first pause and notice how this feels. Gravity is helping the diaphragm come into a position of reset. And then from here, maybe the legs come up overhead. Maybe you come into this supported inversion. Or maybe you come all the way back, bringing your feet to the floor, or feet to a block, or feet to a wall, mirroring the forward fold that we did in standing. Keeping the head straight, then shoulders relaxed. Weight is in the backs of the shoulder blades. Gazing towards your belly. Feeling the entire back body open. Feeling this cocoon type position. In sitting in yin, we call it caterpillar. So moving inside of yourself to find ground and stability here. Maybe repeat that mantra. Maybe let go of what's behind me and awaken to what's inside of me. Pausing for just 3 more breaths. And when you're ready, wherever you are, slowly coming out. If you're in your bridge, as you lower, let one backbone come down at a time, rolling down. Mid-back, low back, sacrum, maybe hugging the knees to your chest. And then let your feet come down to the floor and maybe find a supine butterfly or just falling into Shavasana. Your therapy balls can come behind the head again. If you have the standard size therapy balls, maybe placing them up onto a block for support to create a little bit more traction at the base of the head. Listening to exactly what your body wants right now in this moment. Take 1 minute here to let go of any efforting. Let yourself be 5 or 10% more supported and at ease. Legs are heavy, supported and at ease. Buttocks heavy, supported. Pelvis, spine, the entire torso supported and at ease, resting into the floor. Shoulder blades, shoulders, backs of the arms. Letting the teeth part and the mouth open gently. Unhinge the jaw. Eyes fall back into the eye sockets. Brain drops back into the skull. The entire head heavy, supported, and at ease. Feeling the entire body drop into the support that's all around you. Letting go of anything that's behind you. No need to hold on. Let yourself awaken to this abundance of support. Holding you up. Breath filling you up. Awakening to the infinite potential that this life holds. Feel your breath awaken you again as you take a big breath in. Feel the breath swell inside the entire body. And then exhale and sigh out, rolling to your side, pausing, pressing down into the earth, and making your way to sitting, completing the cycle and beginning again. Thank you so much for sharing this practice. Through this work, may you learn to let go so that you can breathe deeply, move freely, and live fully, going from this place to do your work in the world. Thank you. Namaste.